Corporal Middlebrook.
Present. Arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now they're going to say it in Chinese.
Right. Let them say in Chinese. I'll pledge in Chinese. Go ahead, students.
我保证效忠美国国旗以及它所代表的共和国和在上帝保下的极乐国家，不可分割，人人享有自由和正义。
All right.
Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. Heart.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Acadiana, and thank you, the Corporal Middlebrook students. Appreciate your presence tonight. At this time, I'd like to recognize our superintendent with her comments.
Thank you, President Angel. So good evening, everyone. I am pleased to announce that Ms. Tia Trahan, principal of Lafayette Middle School, has been selected as a semifinalist for Principal of the Year by the Louisiana Department of Education. Ms. Trahan has made positive changes which have resulted in positive impacts at Lafayette Middle School. Under her leadership, Lafayette Middle School has experienced improvement in school performance scores over the last several years. Ms. Trahan has also bridged the gap between community and school, which has resulted in students having many more educational and social opportunities. We wish Ms. Trahan the best in her next level of competition. I would also like to recognize this evening the following employees for being selected as the District Support Person of the Year in the elementary, middle, and high school categories. Ms. Veronica Benoit, WD and Mary Baker Smith Career Center. I know that Ms. Benoit would be okay with me sharing the fact that she is 84 years old and is working circles around most of the staff at the Career Center. And is just really happy to be there. But she's a tremendous inspiration. The principal leadership there told me that they know when Ms. Benoit's not happy with them because she talks very, very slow to get her point across. But a real joy, and we're happy to have her. Miss Angela Baptiste, Catherine Drexel Elementary School. Ms. Baptiste is also being recognized by the Louisiana Department of Education as a finalist for the Outstanding School Support Person of the Year. And Ricky Palombo, Paulbro Middle School. The United Way of Acadiana held its annual Teacher Awards event last month, and it was a wonderful night honoring our noble profession. Congratulations to the following LPSS employees who walked away as top winners in each category. They are Elementary School Teacher of the Year, Ms. Frances Rami from West Side Elementary School. Middle School Teacher of the Year, Dr. Rendell James from Paul Bro Middle School. High School Teacher of the Year, Dr. James Quibido, Acadiana High School. And Inspirational Teacher of the Year, Ms. Angela Rosteet from L.J. Alamo Middle School. Southside High School's Grace Cassidy and Anaya Walker earned the state powerlifting championship title in their respective weight class. Also taking home a state championship title is the Lafayette High School girls basketball team, who are here with us this evening. Congratulations to these female athletes for making herstory during Women's History Month. Across the district, students have been reaching their AR goals and have collectively read 2,833,411,507 words. We enjoy seeing them celebrate those achievements. That's the highest word count that we've had in AR across this district, and I can't wait to see how many words we all can earn together by the end of the year. Applications are now open now through April 24th for the Superintendent Scholarship. All qualifying graduating seniors are encouraged to apply. Please visit our website for more information. As a reminder, and I don't know if these ladies would say that I need to remind you all of this, but just in case you're not aware, that we are closed Friday, April 7th through April 14th. Students will return back to school on Monday, April 17th, and I wish everyone here a safe and happy Easter. Thank you, President Onshell.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. LeBou, would you like to be recognized concerning the Chinese immersion?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you, Superintendent Trosclair. So I'm very honored to represent as one of my schools for District 7, Corporal Michael Middlebrook Elementary, and it is home of the Mandarin Immersion program. And the superintendent and I collaborated on trying to bring some of the immersion, the amazing immersion programs we have before you and show you what the children are working on and how wonderful they are grasping, incorporating that into their education. So I wanted to ask the principal, Bro, and one of our ambassadors from the Mandarin Immersion ambassadors to come up and just give you a little bit of information about the Mandarin program, if that's okay. And I also have to say one of the students is my nephew.
Good evening, everyone. Ms. Trosclair, board, and stakeholders, thanks for having us tonight. A little less than 3 years ago, I stood up here and accepted the job as the principal at Middlebrook. And in doing that, I said, you wait, you'll see great things for Middlebrook. And so I'm here tonight to highlight one of those things, which is the impact that Mandarin is having on our children. So I'm going to give you the big highlights, the ones that make the biggest, I guess, the biggest headlines. And then you saw for yourself, the children are pretty fluent in what they do every day. But we're building some cultural literacy with our kids. They're exposed to a different culture every day, ins and outs of day-to-day life, holidays, things that are celebrated, how we go to school, all those things. So while they're building cultural literacy, they're also learning about the world. And so it's building just a general acceptance of differences. And so our children are very well acclimated to accepting anyone into their life and are always willing to help. And it doesn't matter what background those children are from. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Language acquisition, pretty much by second grade, they are super fluent. You can walk into their classrooms and they're talking to each other in Mandarin without teacher interaction. It's very impressive. Our actual second grade teacher is here tonight, Miss Meow and Miss Mello, who's one of our ELA teachers in the program, and they can vouch for that. The children really pick up the language quickly because we truly do immerse them, and so by second grade we see some wonderful things happening. And then there's correlation between bilingualism and academic achievement. So I'm going to share some numbers with you that I think are really impressive since my time there. So my current 5th grade students right now, 100% of those kids in their testing year, the past 2 testing years, I'm just going to give you a little bit of data. 100% of the current 5th graders scored mastery or above in math both years. So every single child who's in my 5th grade class right now in their 3rd grade testing year and their 4th grade year scored mastery or above in ELA and math. In 3rd grade, those same children, 100% of them scored mastery or above in ELA and 86% scored mastery or above. In math and 86% in ELA. It's very impressive numbers. My current 4th graders in their testing year last year, their 3rd grade year, 100% of them scored mastery or above in both subjects. So my program introduces a brand new language. That's intense for a kid to just hear a different language all day and learn that. And on top of that, academics are paramount. They are really achieving great things. Lastly, we're a leader in me school, so we've got a lot going on our campus. And as you can see, they jump at any opportunity to be leaders. They were very willing to do anything that I asked of them tonight. We scaled back a lot because we had like a big plan at first. So they had roles, they had done translations, they were good to go. So they just are learning how to balance responsibilities and extra tasks and the hard stuff, and they do it with ease. So we're super proud of them. They take on a lot. They put out great product. I mean, it's impressive to watch. So we're proud of our kids. We want to thank everybody who supports our program, our ambassadors that are here tonight, board members who support us, and we also want to thank you for the couple of minutes that you allowed us to, highlight the great things that are happening. And I think Dr. Homan will speak.
All right, hello. I'm Dave Homan. I'm a cardiologist in town. My family moved to Lafayette about 6 years ago. We moved from Monroe, and then throughout my training, we've been all throughout the United States. So we were quite happy and excited when we found, as we moved here, that there was a Mandarin Immersion program. My cousin in Minneapolis, where I grew up in Minnesota, her kids were in a Mandarin program there, a full K through 12 program. And I remember being quite envious as we moved around the country from city to city through training, looking at just the world around us and realizing that there's a rising geopolitical size to the east, and that not that needs to be contended with, but it needs to be a reality that we all live with. We were quite excited to see that Lafayette had the foresight to put that in place. And really excited to enroll our daughter. Once we got here, she was in preschool when we arrived. She's been in the program. I have a second daughter who's now in the program, and then my son will be a kindergartner next year. So all three of our children are in the Mandarin program. As we've moved through the program, we've kind of wondered what's going to happen after 5th grade. And that's been the biggest limitation for us as we've as parents trying to decide whether to put our kids in the program or not, and then the concern that we hear from parents as we've tried to recruit and build the program. The biggest challenge that we have as parents trying to talk to other parents and get them to enroll kids is what happens after 5th grade. And unfortunately, the best we can do is shrug and kind of say we're not sure. We hope there's support, we hope there's a program. We keep being told that the limitation is the build up underneath, but I assure you we're losing 50-75% of potential enrollees in the program because there isn't sort of a path. There's no vision or something. I'm not sure what the right word is, but there's no point past 5th grade. And that's what parents keep asking us over and over and over again. And I think that it was fantastic for Lafayette to have all of the language programs. I'm a huge advocate for second languages. I know none, and I'm very envious of those who do. But from a business perspective, I'll give you one perspective from my company. So I work for CIS here in town, and prior to the pandemic, we had reached out and had some actual Chinese immersion within our company. There's a huge growing population in China for sure, and as a result, a need for healthcare. So as cardiologists, we had reached out and we're helping with the development of peripheral angiogram programs and cardiac programs, because the hospitals that we were dealing with were gigantic compared to our programs. We may have, Lafayette General, for example, has 8 cath labs. The average Chinese hospital had 25 to 30 cath labs. So just to do heart procedures on a daily basis, they need a huge amount of training, and we were able to potentially provide that. Our biggest limiting step in that process was finding qualified interpreters, qualified language personnel. We couldn't find them. We couldn't find either Chinese native or a US native to be able to help us with the translation of things. And that's only going to grow. That demand is going to grow, and I think Lafayette as a whole could really lead the way. For sure within Louisiana, there's only one other program that I know of, and that's in Baton Rouge. So within Louisiana, within potentially the whole South, there are not a lot of programs. So as we move forward, I hope that I ask for your consideration as helping us to build the program 5th grade or beyond 5th grade, and getting that there, I think will build the base. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Doctor, and a 6-year belated welcome to Lafayette. Monroe's loss was Lafayette's gain, and I hope to meet you. However, I hope it's on a social basis, strictly. I'd like to, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. If y'all have another meeting to attend or anything like that, you're welcome to leave. Lafayette. Karen Crew. After the budget time. After budget time. As a point of information, we'd like to announce that we have an employee retire insurance advisory committee position that's open. If anyone is interested, please apply. Apply here at the central office. Item 2.3, I'd like to recognize Mr. Mouton, who will in turn recognize new employees.
Good evening to Ms. Trosclair and to the board. I have the pleasure tonight of introducing two assistant principals or two administrators serving in an assistant principal or vice principal role. The first is Ms. Dawn Derwin, and she's the assistant principal at La Rosen Preparatory School. Ms. Derwin has 29 years of experience in the field of education. She holds a bachelor's degree in business education from McNeese State University and a master's degree in educational leadership from Northwestern State University. Ms. Derwin has taught special education and business education and special education and business education at Northside High School. She has also served as the curriculum coordinator at Northside High. After teaching at Northside and serving as the curriculum coordinator, she transitioned to the Gear Up program, where she served as a college and career coach. She also served as the program administrator until the end of the program. Most recently, she has taught Edgenuity at La Rosen Preparatory School. During her position as an Edgenuity teacher at La Rosen, she gained an understanding and support of the vision that Mr. Rollins and the team have for La Rosen Preparatory School. She believes that her past professional experiences make her valuable to the team, and she's excited about the good work that is going on at La Rosen Preparatory School. Ms. Dawn Derwin, Assistant Principal at La Rosen Preparatory School.
Thank you, Mr. Mouton. Superintendent Trosclair, your leadership team, members of the board, thank you very much for this opportunity. I am extremely excited about this appointment at La Rosen. I have began to work with some exceptional people. The people there, the faculty there, they're very supportive, and that's because we have an awesome leader. I don't know who else would have been a perfect fit for La Rosen other than Mr. Jamie Rollins. So I would like to thank Mr. Rollins for accepting me as an asset, as he says he sees me, to his staff. In my 29 years, there's one thing that I stuck to, and that's developing relationships. I've worked with several parents and students, and they want you to be heard, they want to be heard, they want you to listen, and that's what I'm going to do. I think that's going to be valuable in my role at La Rosen, and I'm going to continue to do that. The vision that we have for La Rosen is positive. The culture is changing, and everyone there is on board, and they're supportive. Before I leave, I would like to thank my support system, my sister, my niece, Miss Hardy, and my awesome husband, Vincent. I was not sure if I wanted to apply for the position, and so I talked to him about it. He can sell sand at the beach. So that's why I am here today. Okay, thank you very much.
So, Ms. Derwin, I agree that Mr. Rollins is a great leader, but I understand he cooked for you and Ms. Traxler today as Assistant Principals Week. Is he a good cook?
If I may, I told him I was going to mention that, and he was like, no, please don't, please don't. Hey, I don't know how they do it at other schools, but the way he treats his assistant principals, top notch. We had gold utensils, we had china, we had grape juice. So if you see pictures, it's not wine. We were on campus. So it was grape juice. We had steaks. He had his chef hat on, his
Wow.
apron. I mean, we were treated very well. And Dr. Fagan-Bush also played a part in that. So however, if there are other principals here, you need to take note from Mr. Rollins.
Mr. Rollins must have had a bad signal. I didn't get the invite. Thank you.
We didn't get the invite. We didn't get the invite.
Okay. Next up is Dr. Byron Lyons, and he is the vice principal at Northside High School. Dr. Lyons has 26 years of experience in the field of education. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and accounting from Texas Southern University, a master's degree in education from Grambling State University, and a doctorate of philosophy and school leadership from Concordia University. Dr. Lyons has taught at Farmerville High School, Grambling Middle and High, and Buena Vista High School. He has served in various school leadership positions, including administrative assistant, assistant principal, and he has served as the school principal at Shaw High School in Cleveland, Ohio, and Ginn Academy in Cleveland, Ohio. Most recently, he has served as the Director of Human Resources for East Cleveland City Schools and as an educational consultant. Dr. Lyons is committed to ensuring academic excellence for all students so that they can build a solid education foundation. Therefore, he believes that his administrative experience and educational attainment clearly has prepared him for success as the vice principal of Northside High School, and he looks forward to serving the educational community of Northside High School. Dr. Byron Lyons, vice principal, Northside High.
Good evening, everyone. Superintendent Trosclair, school board members, leadership team. I want to say how grateful and humble I am for this opportunity to serve as a servant leader at Northside High School. I've appreciated everyone who's invited me into the city, into the community, into the school. I come to you immediately from Tallahassee, Florida, but I am a product of Lincoln Parish, where I grew up in Ruston and Grambling. So I've been moving around from Michigan to Ohio, and I believe that what I've ascertained and what I've learned would be valuable to the students and to the scholars at Northside High School as we focus on educating the whole child and make sure we continue to move Northside forward and progress into a better and more reputable school. So thank everyone for inviting me. Thank everyone for having me. I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you all and welcome to Lafayette Parish. At this time, I have been told by Matthew he will give us a brief budget recap and timeline review. Matthew?
Yes, attached to your board item is the budget recap and timeline that was originally presented in December. That timeline has an optional meeting, April 19th, to represent some of the budgets that were presented in the previous board meeting. We just wanted to know the will of the board if in holding this optional meeting or not.
Thank you.
Would y'all like to hold the meeting on the optional meeting on the 19th or not?
We're not meeting, no.
Okay, thank you.
This time I'd like to recognize Mr. Latchley. Britt?
Yes, sir. On behalf of myself and Dr. Chasson, I'd like to ask the board to approve. I'd like to add an agenda item. That the board approve the transfer of $700,000 from the COVID contingency line item in the self-funded construction fund to the Acadiana High and Northside High turf project.
Motion and a second that we add this item to the agenda. Any discussion? Questions from members of the audience? Questions from members of the board? If not, Madam Secretary, we'll call for the vote.
9 for, none against.
All right, motion carries. Item 3.1, discussion, action concerning resolution 4-23-2061 school library month. Mr. Rabelais? Dr. Rabelais.
Yeah.
We're in the process of adding that agenda item. In the meantime, I'd like to read off the consent agenda and ask that if you want any items to be pulled, please indicate. Item 3.1, discussion or action concerning resolution school library month.
Pull
Mr.
that, please.
President, yes.
You want to pull it?
Yes.
Discussion or action concerning resolution 4-23-2062 National Autism Awareness Month. Yes, ma'am. 3.3, discussion or action concerning resolution 4-23-2063 Lafayette High Mighty Lions Girls Basketball Day.
You pull
Pull
that.
that, please.
Pull it. 3.4, discussion or action concerning revisions to the Appendix A schedule of the fees for policy, JS, student fees, fines, and charges for the 2023-2024 school year. 3.5, discussion or action concerning the dress code guidelines for student portion of the 2023-2024 student parent handbook. 3.6, discussion or action concerning resolution 4-23-2065 Louisiana State Local Government Opioid Litigation Memorandum of Understanding. 3.7, discussion and or action concerning the committed schools sites renovations, replacement, Northside High, J.W. Falk, S.J. Montgomery, Judy's Middle School Library, and Academic Wing Edition, Acadiana High School Academic Wing Edition, Southside Home and Visitor Stadium, Westside Elementary School, Cameron Crowe High School Field House, and David Thibodeau STEM Magnet Academy Gymnasium Edition, line item in the self-funding construction fund. Item 3.8, discussion or action concerning the declaration of surplus property at Catherine Drexel Elementary, Middlebrook Elementary, S.J. Montgomery Elementary, Austin Elementary, Ridge Elementary, L.J. Allimore Middle, Scott Middle, and Cobo High School. 3.9, discussion or action concerning lighting of the Acadiana High School softball field and the related budget revision. 3.10, discussion or action concerning the extension of the fiscal agent contract. Pull 3.10. 3.11, discussion or action concerning the budget to actual for March 2023. 3.12, discussion and or action concerning the 2022-2023 third quarter budget revision. 3.13, discussion and or action concerning the fiscal year 23 proposed budget for 2023 board construction fund. 3.14, discussion or action concerning the appointment of special counsel, resolution 4-23-2064. 3.15, new construction, discussion or action concerning the approval of a letter of no objection for work within the Gulf South Pipeline right-of-way at the New Prairie Elementary School. 3.16, discussion or action concerning the minutes of the February 9th, March 1st, and March 15th meeting. At this time, we would accept, yes, sir.
If you refresh.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3.18 under construction.
It's in there, if you refresh.
Oh, I'm on the page.
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah.
And the last one that we just added, 3.18, discussion and interaction concerning the transfer of funds from the COVID contingency line item in the self-funded construction fund to the Acadiana High and Northside High turf project. Mr. President, I would actually request that we also pull item 3.5, please.
All right, at this time, we will accept a motion to approve items not pulled.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that the board approve all items not pulled.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussions on any items not pulled from members of the public? Yes, sir. Dr.
This down right here. Good evening, everybody. Nick Richard, Lafayette High. I'm here to talk about items 3.7 and 3.8. I just have to say, I'm impressed. When y'all said we're gonna make it work without the tax, y'all did it. Look what we're talking about. We're talking about building. We're talking about getting rid of Butler buildings. It's phenomenal. Thank you.
I thought you was
We
about to give it
appreciate
to us,
your
man. I thought you,
positive
look,
comment.
come on now. Phew.
Anyone else want to mention how good a job we're doing on the items we haven't pulled? If not, I'll entertain them. Oh, we have a motion, don't we? Board comment, I'm sorry. Board comment on items not pulled.
Don't worry, he's coming up on the dress code in a minute. It's gonna turn. It's gonna turn. So on 3.7, I just wanted to mention to board members, I've been thinking a lot about not only how unwieldy the name of this line item is. Seems like it takes our president increasingly long amount of time to read the agenda item when it's on the agenda. But also, I look at it and I see that we have 3 rebuilt schools at the top of the list. And I'm proud that we were able to initially put another $1 million of recurring money towards these projects at our initial budget meeting. But I look behind those 3 schools and I see a library and an academic wing addition. I see a wing addition at Acadiana High. I see a football stadium. Excuse me. I see a field house and a gymnasium. There seems to be, it seems to me, if we think back to 2017, 2018, when we were initially starting to save our recurring funding for Lafayette High and Prairie and Karen Crow Heights Bob Lilly Elementary School, we also managed to accomplish and build several wing additions at schools around the parish while we were still doing this. I'd hate to see that these very worthy projects and needed projects get kind of stuck behind that large group at the top, and hence have people waiting years when maybe we can do both at the same time. So I'd like, if you could, to start thinking about, get your thoughts together on something like this, how we might be able to break this up into larger or smaller projects, or devote a percentage to the large projects and a smaller percentage to the smaller projects, so that we can start to knock some of these things out while still making sure we're making good and tangible progress towards the big ones. So that'll be at a later date. I just wanted to put that in each of your minds to start thinking about how we might be able to accomplish that.
And Justin, on that note, I like to see us prioritize on the need of all these projects. Some is more needed than others, so we could look at that as well. Thank you.
Mr. Latchley?
I just wanted to let the contingency here from Karen Crow know that the reading that it took him 10 minutes to read, that 3.7, that it was for the board to approve adding a Karen Crow High School press box and Karen Crow High School Academy of Information Technology Center to the committed school site. So that was added. It was an agenda item put on by President Angel, but just to let you know, that's what all that was about.
Thank you. Anyone else? If that's the case, then we'll vote on the items not pulled. Madam Secretary?
Nine.
All right, motion carries. We'll move on to 3.3, and I'll recognize Mary. I'm sorry.
I'll make the motion if you sure.
Yeah, we need a motion.
I move that the board approves resolution 0423-2063 proclaiming April 6th, 2023 as Lafayette High Mighty Lion Girls Basketball Day.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Discussion, Ms. Morrison.
Tried. What? You gonna read it?
Why don't we let former Lafayette High basketball player Hannah Mason read it?
Yes, I can read too.
I don't want to be a part of the team.
Okay, we ready? All right. Resolution, here we go. Whereas the Lafayette High School Mighty Lion girls basketball team made our community proud by winning their second ever state title. And whereas the Mighty Lion girls basketball team completed their season with an overall record of 27 wins and 6 losses, District 3 5A co-champions, and the top 28 Division I select state title. And whereas the Mighty Lion girls basketball team was coached successfully by head coach K, assistant coach Broussard, and assistant coach Dale Gauthier. And whereas the Mighty Lion girls basketball team made the school's 3rd state championship game appearance since 2009. And whereas in the final championship game, Krista Narcisse added 26 points and 15 rebounds. Kyra Johnson added 11 points and 13 rebounds. Delayla Blackwell added 8 points and 5 rebounds. Grace Paul added 3 points and 5 rebounds. And Carlin Zachary added 2 points and 1 rebound. And Taylon Arsenault added 2 points and 4 rebounds. And whereas Krista Narcisse was named MVP of the top 28 Division I select state championship game with 26 points, 9 2-point field goals, 8 free throws, and 15 rebounds. And whereas the Mighty Lion girls basketball team defeated John Curtis in the state finals by a score of 52-46 before a packed Southeastern University Center crowd in the finale of the top 28 state tournament. And whereas Krista Narcisse was named to the academic all-state team with a perfect 4-point grade point averages. And whereas the Lafayette High School Mighty Lion girls basketball team won the 2nd state championship in girls basketball in the Lafayette Parish public school system. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lafayette Parish School Board declares April 6th, 2023 as Lafayette High School Mighty Lion Girls Basketball Day.
So I wanted to know how many of you watched the girls' national basketball team? The LSU championship game. How many people watched it? Okay. Do you imagine yourself in being there one day, or would you like to go that far and play in college? And yeah, I could see that for you. Absolutely. Well, congratulations. Great job.
Are we taking a picture? Yes.
Hey, ladies, real quick, y'all don't feel obligated to sit right here. Y'all are excused. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Yeah, don't get stuck right here, cause
Y'all can go.
get some real business.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Does anybody have the wreath?
No, not yet. They didn't.
Okay, awesome.
Right.
Good luck, ladies.
Good luck, y'all. Good luck, ladies. Miss Narcisse, it seems like you had a really good game, and I'm proud of your team. You wouldn't happen to be related to Lincoln Narcisse. I was a teammate of Lincoln Narcisse, and you kind of look like him. I'm not sure if that's your dad. Oh, okay. It's nice to meet you, young lady. I'm sure you can play better than him.
Do you always know the answer to the question before you ask it?
Absolutely. Lincoln beat me up in practice for 3 straight years. He was a year older than me.
We need to, if there's no more discussion, we need to actually vote on the item. 3.3, right? So, Madam Secretary, we'll put it up and let's vote.
Nine for, none against.
All right, motion carries. We'll move back to 3.1, discussion or action concerning resolution 4-23-2061, school library month. Dr. Rabelais.
Mr. Angel, I move that the board approve resolution 04-023-2061, school library month, as attached in the public contents section of this agenda.
We have a motion and we have a second. Mr. Latchley, any discussion? You want to read it, Doc?
Yes, sir.
Sure, go ahead.
Resolution 04-023-2061, whereas the school library is to ensure that students and staff are effective users of ideas and information, and whereas the school librarian's role is to provide the leadership and expertise necessary to ensure that the school library is an integral part of the instructional program of the school, and whereas the Board of Education has entrusted the school librarian in each school to teach the skills of locating and using information through traditional resources and new technologies, to provide literature appreciation activities, and to guide and encourage content and recreational reading to every student. And whereas lifelong learning begins and is systematically developed through the school library curriculum of the elementary and secondary schools, and whereas the school library contributes to the individual growth and development of all students while fostering both excellence and equity in education, and whereas the school librarians of the Lafayette Parish system have dedicated themselves to work for quality school libraries for all students, now therefore be it resolved that the Lafayette Parish School Board does hereby proclaim April 2023 as School Library Month in all of the public schools of Lafayette Parish, and calls upon school administrators, teachers, students, and citizens of Lafayette Parish to recognize and support this action and to participate through the month of April in the celebration of School Library Month.
Any other comments from members of the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Julia Reed, President, Lafayette Parish Association of Educators. First, I would like to say we appreciate all our school library members. Second of all, I know this is totally not copying off of him. I plan to speak on this prior to the meeting. It was to say something nice. I became a librarian this year, and so I've been connecting with my peers all over the country and in the state. And I just want to say thank you to you guys and to staff for their commitment to making sure that every student has access to a qualified school librarian. I connected with a fellow librarian in Washington this year, and his school board is having $20 million of budget cuts, and they're cutting all but one librarian from their district. So the librarian will have to visit every school in their district. And so I just wanted to say thank you for your continued commitment to school libraries and school librarians.
Any other comments from members of the board, or public, or members of the board? If not, Madam Secretary, we'll call for the vote.
7 for, none against.
All right, motion carries. I want to make a comment about libraries. When I was working on my master's at USL, then I took a course called Library Science, and the vernacular, the common term given to it was books and libraries. And I've never seen librarians more upset than anyone calling a library science course books and libraries. They kept reminding me it was not books and libraries, it was library science. We'll move on to item 3.2, discussion on action concerning resolution 4-23-2062, National Autism Awareness Month. Mr. Robley?
Mr. President, I move that the board adopts resolution 04023-2062, recognizing National Autism Awareness Month as attached in the public content section. And I'll read it.
All right, we have a motion. Ms.
Second.
Morrison, and do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Ms. Morrison, I recognize you to read it.
Okay, whereas the Lafayette Parish School Board is a center for diverse learning where all students are educated to their fullest potential, and as a center of our community around which we come together in support of the education of all students, and whereas autism spectrum disorder
Developmental disorder typically diagnosed during the first 3 years of life, impacting the ability of individuals to communicate and interact with others. And whereas it is reported to occur in all racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups, but is more than 4 times more common among boys than among girls. And whereas early diagnosis and intervention programs for boys qualify caring individuals who educate and work daily to improve the lives of students with autism spectrum disorder. Whereas April 2023 is designated as National Autism Awareness Month to increase public awareness of the need to support individuals with autism spectrum disorders and family members, educators, and other professionals who teach and care for individuals with autism spectrum disorders. Therefore, be it resolved that the Lafayette Parish School Board do hereby celebrate National Autism Awareness Month from April 1st through the 30th, 2023, recognize and commends the family members of children with autism spectrum disorder for their dedication in providing for the special needs of children with autism spectrum disorder. Emphasizes the need to begin early intervention services for children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in an effort to improve potential outcomes for people with autism spectrum disorders. It honors the teachers, paraprofessionals, and other educators who possess the desire, caring, and skills necessary to teach, assist, and respond to students with special needs, including those with autism spectrum disorder, and who work tirelessly to educate and provide high-quality services for all students with special needs enrolled in Lafayette Parish School District.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Do we have any comments from members of the public concerning this motion? Any other comments from members of the board? If not, then Madam Secretary will call for the vote.
Nine for, none against.
All right, motion carries. We'll move on to the next item I have pulled was 3.5, discussion or action concerning the dress code guidelines for students portion of the 2023-2024 Student Parent Handbook.
Mr. President, I move that the board approves the proposed dress code guidelines for student portion of the 2023-2024 Student Parent Handbook as attached in the public content section of this agenda item.
We have a motion, second by Mr. Latchley. Any questions or comments from members of the public? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Julia Reed, Lafayette Parish Association of Educators. So one of the first pieces of advice you get when you become a new teacher is pick your battles. And this ever-expanding document seems like it's picking a lot of battles for people at schools. The enforcement of a dress code, the burden falls on the schools to enforce it, and primarily on classroom teachers who have overwhelmingly tell us all the time that they are underwater and struggling. And I'm not really certain that they have time to notice whether your jacket is zipped up or not, or whether or not your jacket has denim on it. And the other thing that we're often told is that you need to build relationships with students. And for every one negative interaction you need to have with a student, such as take off your jacket, take off your hoodie, unzip your jacket, that's not dress code, turn your ID around, you need to do 4 or 5 positive interactions just to undo that one. That puts you back at neutral, doesn't put you in a favorable stand with that student. And while I understand the necessity of dress codes for safety and for, just teaching the students a sense of order, this is getting really granular. And we're asking teachers and paras to police children's bodies. And that's not really what they signed up for. And it's difficult, and it makes their already difficult job more difficult. So I would just ask that we pick our battles. And second of all, when children, and there are children who do not have in our parish items, finding those items for students falls on the school once again to try to figure out, okay, this child keeps getting sent to ISS, we got to find him a sweatshirt, we got to find him the right school shirt, we got to they show up with pants that are too tight or too short, let's go in the closet and see what we can find. And then we have a teacher on campus hustling up, finding pants and finding shirts in the community, and that's time taken away from her family or from her job duties, one of the two. So if we are going to have a dress code that is very specific in this way, I would also ask that the district help shoulder some of that burden by compiling a resource and posting to the parish website, directing parents where they can go to obtain free or very inexpensive items that fit this dress code, so that we remove that burden from the school-based educators. Thank you.
Nick Richard, Lafayette High again. Now you can see why I let her go first, right? One thing I do like is the little change in format. It's clearer what is allowed, what's not allowed. It doesn't make it much easier, but it makes it a little easier. And maybe it's because it's Wednesday night, the last day before spring break, and my mind's not all there, but I'm focusing on pages 8 and 9. Jackets, coats, sweaters, and sweatshirts, specifically for middle school and high school, even though I think there is similar wording in the elementary section. And I'm looking at the last 2 highlighted bullets under allowed. Outerwear may be worn during the instructional setting if it's solid, hoodless, and in the school's colors listed. And then outerwear must remain open, not zipped or buttoned. I found that last one, I'll talk about that one first, I found that odd, because it could be interpreted that a kid cannot be outside unless their jacket is unzipped or unbuttoned. Now, if that bullet was moved down underneath indoor wear, if that was the intent of it, that inside it should be unzipped or unbuttoned, I think it would be better placed in the indoor wear column, be it allowed, not allowed, wherever y'all see fit. The other thing that jumped out at me was it was not allowed. Outerwear other than designated colors listed is not allowed to be worn in the building after arrival unless transitioning to an outdoor class. And so you would have kids who have a jacket on and who are taking it off, having to carry yet another thing in addition to their book sack, in addition to their Chromebook, in addition to their see-through lunchbox, all that stuff. It's yet another thing to carry. Lastly, on page 9, it says not allowed large emblems, logos, or decorations. And then kind of going back to the colors, I could see that this would disallow letter jackets. They are not solid. They tend to be two different colors. At least at Lafayette High they are. They are both green and black. Not only that, they have large emblems and logos and decorations, as the kids have won various honorary things. So I think that a rewording there and possibly moving things around is necessary in order to make it more clear and therefore easier for staff to try and enforce this quite lengthy document. Thank you.
If no other comments from members of the public, members of the board? Yes, ma'am, Ms. LeBou.
Just to your point, there is under the allowed, schools are permitted to sell approved hoodless school spirit attire. So I'm assuming that letter jackets would be under there. If we need to provide a, inclusive list or a illustrative list, we can do that. But I think any school issued item or any earned item would be absolutely fine. I do notice that some of these schools are limited to one color of a sweatshirt, and others are given multiple colors. For example, Acadiana has that solid forest green but no gold option, which is offered for Karen Crow. So I just wanted to see if staff could work to allow, if some of these schools are having issues with locating a certain color, or maybe give another option so that we don't have an issue where somebody can't find a solid forest green in that hood list for their child, so that we can have another option available.
Yes, sir, Mr. Latchley.
Those options are not available in Acadiana's gold, and we do not have the same gold as Karen Crow. That's goldenrod. Ours is old gold, so you can't find that anyway. But Acadiana's fine with just green.
Ms. Gardner, would you please comment on the colors, the same as last year? Go ahead, please.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Trosclair. So the colors are actually the same that was adopted on September 14th on the amendment that's attached to the documents. And to verify, it was sent to each principal twice before we published again for them to review. And again, it has to do with the color options like the gold. If you don't mind, I would like to add that we spent an extensive amount of time researching other districts not only around us but in other states about dress code. We sent out to the administrators to ask for feedbacks of things they've seen on campus. We sent out as we do every year, to the schools where we ask an administrator, a teacher, a parent that is not a teacher or in the school system to serve on the committee. We also included the homeless department because they provide and we order uniforms in bulk for our kids in homeless. So we involved the homeless. We also involved our directors of schools, hearing officers, and truancy through the process. We had 3 in-person meetings, one held for elementary, one for middle, and one for high, so each area could be dedicated to hearing the concerns. As you can see, the format has changed, and it is a little bit more lengthy because we did add to clarify is what we did. There's no true new item that we're asking. We had outerwear last year that had no hoods, and it's the same this year. So we just tried to make it clearer, more defined, and in a lot easier fashion to follow.
If there are no other comments from members of the board, we'll call for the vote.
Nine for, none against.
Motion carries. And we'll move on to item 3.10, Discussion or action concerning the extension of the fiscal agent contract. Mr. Dugas, Mr. Mouton?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that the Lafayette Parish School Board approves the extension of the fiscal agent contract with First Horizon as attached in the public content section of this agenda item.
Second.
Motion, second by Dr. Aguilar. Any questions or comments from members of the audience? Step right up, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm assuming any questions or comments from members of the board? Yes, ma'am, Mr. Booth.
And thank you, Mr. Centeni, for pulling it. I forgot to do that. I'm married to an employee of First Horizon, so I will be abstaining from the vote.
Yes, sir, Mr. Centeni.
And I am an employee of First Horizon, so I will be abstaining for the vote.
All right. No other questions and discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Seven for, 2 abstain.
Okay, motion carries. That's all I have. The items pulled. Unless anybody has anything else, this meeting is adjourned.